Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Ashley McDowell. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. The names have been released of 2 females that were found dead in an establishment in San Antonio. Also tonight, a male is pleading not guilty to striking someone with a machete. And a bill is passed up on Capitol Hill that protects women and children. In sports, the Dove League comes clean with a fitting, fantastic finish. Stay with us. These stories and more are next.
Holidays happening at Docomo Pacific's Red Friday. Purchase select phones on our popular Now program and choose a free gift, like free wireless earphones or huge discounts on the latest smartwatch. Prepaid friends get free load with select prepaid phones. And get a chance to win a Nintendo Switch when you take a selfie with our new AI dog, Spark. Come in for a happening holiday now. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Green sea turtles and hawksbill turtles call the Mariana Islands home. They are an important part of the marine ecosystem. They are under threat, and they are protected under CNMI law. Keep plastic out of the ocean. Keep vehicles off the beach. Use the Sea Turtle Stranding Hotline if you see poaching activities or if you see a turtle in trouble. Call 287-8537 and save a turtle.
I'd like to wish the entire CNMI happy holidays from Office of Vocational Rehabilitation as well as Office of the Governor.
I just want to wish everyone in the CNMI, my friends, my family, and those I've not even met yet, a very meaningful Christmas this year.
Half a day, Tirwami, and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Monday, December 16th, 2019. The identities and cause of death of 2 females found dead in a Korean restaurant in San Antonio last Friday have been released. According to the Department of Fire and Emergency Medical Services, Lim Hoi Choi and Ra Na Lim were found in separate pools of blood about 15 feet from the entrance of the Korean restaurant that produces rice cakes located in San Antonio. Adrian Pangilinan, the Public Information Officer for the Department of Public Safety, states Lim is a 43-year-old Korean female that owns the establishment, and Choi is a 53-year-old Korean Chinese female. Both were shot inside of the establishment. Pangilinan says at the moment, no suspects have been identified.
Preliminary investigation, investigators and police have canvassed the area, and they have come back with some surveillance footage from neighboring business establishments and buildings. Right now, our officers and our detectives are looking through those surveillance footage to find if there is any important and crucial information, detail, or even a photo or a glimpse of a photo of any possible suspects, any time that the incident has occurred. And if we do come up and if we do find anything that is crucial and critical in this investigation, we will share it with the public if it is going to help the case.
And officials are waiting on an autopsy to be performed.
At this moment in time, we are unable to confirm the cause of death due to the absence of a medical examiner. Right now, we are working with the Attorney General's office to bring in a medical examiner just to look at not only these victims, but we have a couple as well. And then once the medical examiner can come in and confirm, that's when we can state the actual and confirmed cause of death.
The Korean Community Center held a 2-day memorial service for Choi and Lim over the weekend. Pangilinan says individuals close to the victims stated both Choi and Lim always carry a shoulder bag, which could not be found at the scene for either of them.
It was stated recently that both victims did carry a shoulder bag at all times. We do not know the brand or the make of the shoulder bag or what is in the shoulder bag. All that was described to us was the brief description. The first shoulder bag was described as being white in color with a floral design. A type of flower or leaf was not mentioned, but that is all we know. The second shoulder bag, which belongs to the second victim, is described as black in color, no brand, and undisclosed details of the contents inside the bag.
DPS is not identifying the case as a robbery yet. If you have any information on the missing bags or related to the death of the two individuals, call 911. Or, to remain anonymous, contact the CNMI Crime Stoppers at 234-7272.
Security tape is still up here at the Rice Cake Best Food in San Antonio, where the two female bodies were found. And right across the street is where another early morning shooting that left one man dead occurred back in 2015, a case that has never been solved. Reporting for KSPN, I'm Ashley McDowell.
In court, a male is pleading not guilty to striking another male with a machete. 34-year-old Ryan Pua is charged with disturbing the peace and assault with a dangerous weapon. On August 31st, the Department of Public Safety were called to the scene where Pua was holding two machetes in one hand and a bottle of liquor in the other. Officers asked Pua to drop the machete and Pua complied. Judge Roberto Naraha has set a status conference for January 21st at 1:30 p.m. The Supreme Court affirms a 5-year sentence for a former corrections officer that pled guilty to possession of methamphetamine and violation to his probation. In the case Commonwealth versus Mariano Falig Jr., Falig pled guilty to possession of less than a gram of meth and violation of his probation back in 2016. Falig appealed, stating the trial court mechanically imposed his sentence and failed to individualize his sentence. Falig asked the Supreme Court to vacate his sentence and return the case to court with a different judge. Documents state the Supreme Court gave attention to Falig's criminal record, employment history, and the number of temporary restraining orders issued against him, and found the maximum sentence of 5 years is reasonable. And the Supreme Court has reversed the trial court's decision in Atkins Kroll Incorporated versus Primo Ferreira Jr. Ferreira failed to make monthly payments, where Atkins Kroll repossessed the vehicle, resold it, and sued Ferreira in small claims court. The small claims judge ruled in favor of Ferreira, stating Atkins Kroll failed to meet notice requirements. Atkins Kroll appealed to the Superior Court, where Superior Court denied the appeal. Documents state on another appeal, Atkins Kroll claimed the court abused its discretion when denying a new trial. This time, the Supreme Court found Atkins Kroll is entitled to a new trial and that the court did abuse its discretion since it showed prejudice against Atkins Kroll by not granting a new trial with additional evidence showing the notice requirement was met. Up on Capitol Hill, the Senate passes 3 bills and 4 resolutions. Our Sally Lemus reports.
A bill protecting women and children passed the Senate this morning. Senator Vinnie Sablon authored Bill 21-26 to establish the Commonwealth Uniform Parentage Act, which puts in regulatory measures for surrogacy.
And the committee found that surrogacy practices currently exist in the Commonwealth right now, without any statutory regulations or provisions in place to protect all parties involved, more importantly, the health and well-being of our surrogate mother and child.
In the past years, ads have been posted in the CNMI looking for surrogate mothers, and Senator Sablon believes there should be laws to protect all parties involved.
The intended parents were paying local surrogate mothers or possible surrogate mothers about $20,000 to $30,000 to carry these fetuses in their bodies in exchange with the payment. So, you know, the committee and myself, and of course the work of the legal counsel and the staff, we saw it important that we put in these regulatory measures so that we protect our women here in our society, here in the CNMI, and as well as the children.
Senator Sablan also says this act will protect the identity of the birth children.
This bill just kind of really puts the control mechanism on that to ensure that our women are safe, these babies are safe, and that we can identify which these children are indigenous or not in the future.
Another bill passed in the Senate, authored by Congressman Joseph Lee Pon Guerrero, establishes a separate statute and penalty for individuals committing the act of vandalism. The Senate passed it unanimously, as well as House Bill 21-35, which is to restrict the use of mobile electronic devices while driving vehicles, which was authored by Congressman Edmund Villagomez. Also mentioned in today's Senate session was the appeal of Senator Paul Manglonia to support the House minority's request of the investigation of allegations against Governor Ralph Torres.
Last week, our colleagues in the House of Representatives spent a great deal of time in their two legislative sessions discussing the recent FBI raids in the CNMI and alleged frauds and abuses in the uses and expenditures of government funds. As a result, Speaker Acta has tasked two of his House standing committees to look into this matter further. I have here a copy of the House minority letter to the Speaker and the OGA request to the Department of Finance for the Senate Clerk so that these letters may be admitted as part of our Senate records. Similarly, Mr. President and members, I respectfully ask that the Senate work jointly or in coordination with the House of Representatives in carrying out these legislative inquiries. I know I'm only a minority member, and who am I to make such a request? However, I am sure, like our House counterparts, each of us here in this chamber, are all being pressured by members of the public to do something about these alleged violations of government funds and public trust. Joining the House in this investigation will only result in improved government transparency and greater public confidence in our legislative process. Dr. Nasidus Monsi, and thank you for your indulgence.
This is Sally Limps for KSPN News.
A status conference has been set for a male being charged with assault and battery and assault with a dangerous weapon. 33-year-old Kazuyuki Lizama has a status conference set for January 21st at 1:30 p.m. According to court documents, on October 9th, Lizama allegedly attacked a friend with a skillet, striking him on the right side of the head when the victim entered Lizama's house. This led to a confrontation between the two, where the victim drove to DPS to report the incident. Release to a third-party custodian of his wife was denied during a bail hearing, as she was at the scene as a witness. Coming up, House minority request for an investigative committee is now moving forward. More details after the break.
Being able to just communicate with each other was the best experience, so that everybody can actually be assured that, family members are safe, co-workers are safe, whether it be on Tinian, whether it be on Rhoda, or whether it be on Saipan. Since then and now, ITNE has been there and has been reliable. Afade, my name is Ray, and I'm with the network that works.
Let's roll at Gold's Gym Saipan with group exercise for every body. Total Resistant Exercise, or TRX, helps develop your core and improve strength. And Zumba toning is probably the funnest way to get fit. The Shake Cafe is a great place to stop by for a meal replacement or supplements. Today is the first day of the rest of your life.
Watch the Visitors Channel online, on time, anytime at saipantv.com. Where to go, what to see, what to do. Restaurants, spas, activities, and culture. It's all in one place in high definition on your mobile device. SaipanTV.com. Check it out.
Hafa Day Bantiro. This is Sally Limas from KSPN wishing everyone a very happy and safe holiday season. From my family to yours, Feliz Pascua, Dyan Año Nuevo.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. Last week, the House minority filed a formal request to appoint a special committee to investigate allegation of public corruption, fraud, waste, and abuse of public funds by Governor Ralph Torres. Speaker of the House, B.J. Attal, has attended to the request and has delivered them to the JGO and Ways and Means Committee.
Like I said in the previous interview, right, that I will be sending the communication 21-104 to one or more committees, and the reason why it went to JGO and Ways and Means because of financials, obviously, for Ways and Means, and the government portion, JGO. Ways and Means deals with the financials of the CNMI, and then JGO is the governmental operations. So should there's any questions in between, well, they're the rightful committees to be taking care of that.
Congressman Joel Camacho, who is the chairman of the JGO committee, made a statement on Friday's session addressing the general public that he will recuse himself with any proceeding moving forward. On Guam, the island's prison is overcrowded and the hiring process has now begun for law enforcement officers. KUAM reports.
Hafa CNMI, here's what's making news on Guam. Too many inmates, not enough corrections officers. That's one of the biggest problems at the island's prison, but Acting Director Frank Shizaki says there is a way to reduce overcrowding at DOC. Chris Barnett has more.
Acting Prison Director Frank Ishizaki says the hiring process is slow, but has begun for some 25 corrections officers expected to boost staffing levels at the Department of Corrections. Job offers sent to the 25, and Ishizaki said he plans to hire in total 40 new COs. DOC's Lieutenant Arsenio Espino tells KUAM it takes a special kind to not only work at the prison, but to stay on the job there.
You need to love this job, or you're not going to last for a year.
Lieutenant Espino should know he's been on the job at DOC for 27 years. He said that potential corrections officers need to understand how their relationship with inmates and detainees works.
They need to know that you really care for them. It's not, like I said, it's not about paycheck. It's about you're being entrusted to take care of them, come to work, and do that. You do your part, take care of them. Our job is to keep them away from the society, not to add more hardship on them inside the prison.
Ishizaki, meanwhile, said talks are in the works with the judiciary, which has struggled with the implementation of its electronic monitoring program.
Electronic monitoring can be useful, but I think that our legal community hasn't really given it much thought because they're still doing stuff the way we've always done it.
Because of prison overcrowding, not only are staffing levels dangerously low, presenting risks for COs, but grouping inmates and detainees by security classification has pretty much become a pipe dream. With about 150 corrections officers overseeing 700 inmates and detainees, Ishizaki says something's got to give, and soon.
In here, we're busting at the seams. We have 700 people we got to take care of collectively between Manila and Hagatnya. Our facilities are not designed for 700 people. And if you keep incarcerating more people, what do? So we really have to ask ourselves collectively, the whole community, how should we address this? It's not a corrections problem, it's a Guam problem.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
And stay connected via our KUAM mobile news app. Follow us on any of the social media platforms and sign up for our weekly email newsletter, KUAM Digital Digest, on KUAM.com. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Thank you, Nestor. Coming up inside the KSPN2 Sports Report, a look back before we look ahead. It's just like real life.
don't delete this message. I don't want you to forget. This is where we keep the family together, okay?
I got this, Nana.
Last Christmas, when Nana got sick, she showed us how she makes the holidays special. Because time will come when we have to do those ourselves. Now it's our turn, Nana. And I'm sure we'd always make you proud.
Watching the video growing pain, Mom.
Oh, I miss her.
It's Christmas time. Everybody be happy.
Because everything beautiful about the holidays are the ones you've kept alive in our hearts.
Welcome to Channel 2 Health Talk. I'm Dr. Tony Stearns of Marianas Medical Center. I recently read an article on CNN.com that had what I think are some really interesting and helpful ideas about eating habits and weight loss. At the Cornell Food and Brand Lab in Ithaca, New York, Professor Brian Wansek studies how people behave around food. He believes that we are pretty much powerless to ignore the pull of the candy jar, the food buffet, and the snack cupboard. He says that with something that's very visible, every time we see it, we have to make a decision. Do I want to eat that? Do I not want to eat that? Do I want that candy on my desk or do I not want it? We can say no 20 times, but if it's visible, the 21st or the 22nd or whenever, we start saying maybe. And by maybe the 30th or the 31st time, we start saying, what the heck, I'm hungry, and it gets eaten. In a similar way, convenience also tends to do the same thing. If it's really convenient and there's nothing to stop us from reaching out and grabbing something, we'll continue until something tells us to stop. Unfortunately, that something is often when the container is empty. The 100-calorie containers of chips or cookies work to help 70% of people eat less. When they finish the container, they pause and ask themselves whether they want more. He has also found you'll eat more if you're eating family style with the serving bowls on the table, if you're eating directly from the bag or carton, if you're eating on a bigger plate or from a bigger container, or if you're eating in front of the television, in the car, and with friends. Even if we all know about the mindless eating, Wansek says we can't help ourselves. He's proven this point by giving a 90-minute class to graduate students about eating more from larger containers, and then secretly observing them at a Super Bowl party 6 weeks later. His solution? Surrender. Accept that you will give in to temptation and eat mindlessly. By observing these suggestions, you'll find it much easier to eat better and to lose weight. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dr. Tony Stearns of Marianas Medical Center. Have a healthy week.
Merry Christmas to all the families out there. Hope you enjoy your Christmas, have fun.
Merry Christmas to my family here on Saipan, Maria, Casey, and to my son Cole in Wisconsin.
I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody and Merry Christmas to my mom and my dad. Merry Christmas, Sinamai.
Buenas sports fans. Buenas sports fans, the Dove League flew away Friday night, but not before dropping highlights galore.
Everyone loves to come to TSL Gym to meet friends and enjoy life's special moments. The TSL Gym packs more punch per square foot than any other sporting venue here. Friday night, it's double parking night. The parking lot too small to accommodate all the people that want to see the action. Why? The answer is not complex, it's simple. The place is rocking. due to the league's popular TSL Interbusiness Volleyball League for employees. Kanoa and Green thought they had a point against Lower Basin Black, but missed Buenabajo and Alexa Go. Oh, they're too talented to let that happen, especially in front of Mr. Buenabajo. With Alexa Go serving like that, how could Lower Base lose? I don't know, but they did. Let's walk over to the next court for the big deal. Friday night, the end of the serious Women's Dove League. A-Division Championship, Tan Holdings FC in green, stopped by Kanoa's Teresa Tovas' leg. Paul and Joyce down the middle. Emmeline Aniana with the foot save. Can't afford to be careless. THFC inbounds. Irish Pagara rushes in, surprises Aniana for the first goal of the game. Kanoa dominating shots on goal. That pass just misses connecting with Paul and Joyce. Irish and Paul in off the post, and it was still 1-0 Kanoa. Caitlin Chavez down the line until she runs out of angle. Irish gets double teamed, and she appreciates that carpet that they installed there. It used to be bare concrete. More Kanoa FC putting on the pressure, but Tan Holdings defense holds and doesn't allow another goal in the first half. Emmeline throws the ball down court in hopes of a surprise score. It's not happening. Pauline, well, she didn't score here, but she connected 3 times in the second half, lifting Kanoa to the A-Division Championship 5-4.
And tomorrow night we're going to have the B Division Championship. That was a real goal fest. The Hell of the Mariana Century Cycle rebounded nicely from last year's cancellation by attracting bikers from around the world.
The idea of the Hell of the Marianas is to attract visitors by showcasing the natural beauty of the island while giving local riders a chance for some good competition. This year there were 126 riders who started the race. 60% were from Saipan. 50 riders flew in from Guam, Australia, Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, Slovakia, Taiwan. One goal of MVA was to increase the number of female riders, and they were able to do that with Guam, Japan, and Australia coming in 1, 2, 3. Laura Naidu from Guam has raced on Saipan before, but not in the Hell of the Marianas.
No, this was my first time. I've heard a lot about it because I live in Guam, so a lot of people from Guam come over here. And I've done Tagaman, the triathlon, so I wanted to get over here and give it a shot.
Oh, you did Tagaman. All right, this one is a little bit different then because you got radar hill. You got a little bit different. You got some hill. Talk about radar hill. What was the toughest part out there today?
Well, for me, descending, going down these hills is a little nerve-wracking. So I just wanted to take my time going down the hills and then make it up going up the hills. So that's what I tried to do out there and just have fun.
The Hell of the Marianas, firmly established now as a jewel of a sporting event, and the annual event is already being planned again for the first Saturday of December 2020.
Here's the windup and the pitch.
I don't believe what I just saw!
Come drive. Kids carts available now at the Seaside Circuit, and best of all, adults go along for free. Teach your child how to drive the best way possible by letting them take the steering wheel. You'll be along for the ride just to make sure things go smoothly. Kids carts, the Seaside Circuit. Bring your local ID for a special half-a-day rate.
All right, today's high was only 86, the low 71 early this morning, ties the lowest of 2019. Our humidity 70%, tomorrow partly sunny, isolated showers, strong trade winds blowing from the east, 15 to 25 miles an hour. High 86, a low expected to be around 74, maybe even 73. Seas 8 to 11 feet, rough out there. Sunrise 6:36, high tide 12:28, sunset 5:49. Tomorrow, 7 seconds less sunlight than we had today as the days continue to get shorter. but not for much longer.
Oh, not much longer. All right. Thank you, Bob, for that weather
You're
report.
most welcome.
And thank you for watching. Have a great rest
Yes.
of your Monday night.
She's right. Good night.